the British climate can be a real killer. This year in particular is one of the wettest years on record. You can turn up to work in the morning and face a swimming pool more often than not.
Adrift in a sea of Roman mud, the spirits of the crew are kept afloat by the promise of new discoveries. Andrew's dad, Robin Burley, roots through knee-deep muck for a whiff of Roman life.
You can actually smell the Romans. Ah, beautiful. It's a combination of, I don't know, old socks and body odours and things. And our excavators, when they come onto the site, they can normally smell this smell 100 yards away, and they know where we're operating. Wonderful smell. We love it.
The handle from a flagon is a clue that alcohol was available, a substance that served a number of tasks. For Messicus, a big gulp of spirits helps deaden the hardships of the front lines. For others, it helps numb the pain of mangled limbs. Evidence suggests opium was mixed with alcohol to create an anesthetic cocktail, a brew as potentially lethal for the patient as the surgical procedure that followed. Among Burley's most compelling finds are medical tweezers, a silver probe to open wounds, and this bronze blade, the instrument of last resort. It was the dread of every fighting man of the empire.
For somebody with serious wounds, what capacity they would have for surgery, effective surgery, I rather doubt. I mean, it'd be a case of amputation, I'm sure.
Severed limbs and the lives of men feed the insatiable fires of Roman ambition. This cruel reality was not lost on the average soldier. Messicus and his brothers were replaceable parts of the Roman war machine. Piece by bloody piece, its inner workings and broken cogs surface at Vindolanda. The common foot soldier is the foundation of the Roman army, and what he wore on his feet is the most common find at Vindolanda.
Ah, that's a nice one, Andrew. That's a nice one. It's the posh officer's sandal. You know, that's expensive in any language, cutting all that very careful open work there. All the money is in the uppers. We always say that Vindolanda's got everything that Pompeii and Herculaneum haven't got. I think Pompeii has got 3 or 4 bits and pieces of Roman shoes. Well, we've got over 3,000 of them.
Some 500,000 artifacts serve as archaeological pixels. Composited together, they form dim snapshots from the private lives of men like Messicus. An iron awl used to tighten the leather straps of his armor. A sewing kit to mend his tunic. A comb to part his hair. And this iron knife, its maker's name proudly stamped into the blade. All found in Vindolanda's gnarly nooks and crannies.
What sort of thing are you hoping to find in this one?
I'd love to find some late 4th century material from this one.
Yeah.
Once you go down there, you're not coming back out again.
Just how these treasures were found is the stuff of family folklore.
My wife was writing a thesis on Roman spoons, and blow me down, she finds the best spoon here. I mean, cynics would say she planted it herself.
Some people say I've got a golden touch, but really, you know, it's a question of how much work you do.
Andrew Burley sees a kind of archaeological voodoo at work.
The site will only seem to reward one member of the family at a time. So if all 4 of us are working on the site at the same time, we won't find anything. As soon as 3 of us go somewhere else and leave one alone, then that person will make a sensational find. But that's just the way it goes.
And that's just how it went for Andrew's dad one sensational day. A find that literally spoke volumes on life at Vindolanda. A discovery that turned Roman archaeology on its head.
If I have to spend the rest of my life working in dirty, waterlogged trenches, I will never again experience the thrill that I experienced that memorable day.
Freed from the clammy grip of the bog came messages from vanished men.
I noticed some rather slimy bits of wood, very thin sheets of wood, rather slimy. And I thought, well, that's odd for carpenters' shavings, and just quietly peeled them apart. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Hidden beneath a cover of mud were written words lost to the world for 2,000 years. Messicus and his brothers had broken ranks with the past and delivered to archaeologists messages from a lost world. The priceless Roman letters discovered by the Burleys were rushed to an expert in ancient inscriptions some 40 miles away. But the journey to the past had ended before it began. When the shavings were unpacked, the words had vanished.
All the writing had gone. It was just absolutely blank.
It was an archaeologist's worst nightmare. But the Burleys didn't give up. A closer examination of the shavings revealed microscopic traces of carbon-based ink, a substance the Burleys could see through infrared photography. Ancient histories of the Roman invasion of Britain mention only a few generals and governors. Now, written in their own hand, came the names and origins of some 600 Romans at Vindolanda.
Virtually everybody, as far as we can tell, in that early period up here, are literate.
We know there was a doctor here called Marcus. And opium is one of many substances which we have got mentioned on a writing tablet.
Even the soldier Messicus is heard from.
I, Messicus, ask my lord that you consider me a worthy person to whom to grant leave at Coria.
Writing on a thin wooden shaving with a metal stylus, Messicus begs his commanding officer for a breather.
The odds are he had a brother or a close friend in another regiment that he wanted to visit and sort of go to the pub with for a few days.
Today, the remains of the fort Messicus longed to escape are excavated with help from volunteers. Urging them on is a family hooked on the past.
I've got 5 children. I tried to persuade all 5 that there were various honest ways of earning money, and one of them wasn't archaeology.
The Burley family's been excavating the site on and off for, well, 70 or 80 years, really.
It started with Andrew's grandfather, Eric, who bought the site in 1929. The rest is family history.
I was born and brought up here. When I was born, my father was excavating the headquarters building. And I just loved the place, and I was always fascinated to know what was actually going on here.
It certainly is a tremendous experience to find something and know that you're the first person to have touched it for the best part of 2,000 years.
It's wonderful to be able to handle all of these things, the excitement when the excavation's going on.
Andy, you better have a look at this. Here you go.
Oh, now that is definitely an ink writing tablet that you've got there. See how thin it is? And it's got a slightly oily sheen